Here is the media news on OGBC. My name is Babalola. First, the major items. President Tinubu calls on Labour youth to collaborate with government to better the society. The Ogun State government is promising completion of ongoing projects. In Colombia, the finance minister has resigned at the president's request. President Bola Tinubu has expressed the need for labor unions to strengthen ties with the government for the benefit of Nigerians. President Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, Senator Aineke Lokobiri, led us out at the inauguration of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG Tower, on Wednesday in Lagos. It noted that the success of the country's oil and gas sector is dependent on the success of NUPENG and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria's Pengasan. In his appeal to the leaders of the labor unions, Mr. President urged them not to pursue industrial actions but engage in dialogue for the betterment of the country. The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has emphasized the importance of bridging financial inclusion gaps to achieve Nigeria's vision of a $1 trillion economy by 2030. Senator Shettima inclusive financial system. He identified some unsettling gaps yearning for serious attention, including low penetration for digital financial services among women, just as he listed some socioeconomic barriers and these inequalities. The Vice President was represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Adija, warned that Nigeria's vision of building a $1 trillion economy by 2030 will remain an illusion unless the private sector and development partners are fully engaged. The Ogun State government has promised to complete all the ongoing projects across the state in the 2025 budget proposal. Governor Dr. Abiodun made the promise on Wednesday while presenting the 2025 appropriation bill to the members of the State House of Assembly at Okimoso in Abeokuta. The governor, who commended the people of the state for their perseverance and resilience in the face of the ongoing economic challenges, said that the budget would serve as a relief to the people of the state by enhancing its revenue generating initiatives and foster economic development to facilitate key projects for the year. He emphasized that the budget would also address the renovation of hospitals and revitalization of 80 primary healthcare centers across the state. Mr. Governor added that more roads would be constructed while some parts of the state would be connected to metro rail lines from Lagos and also improve on rural infrastructure. Also, the Ogun State government is committed to ensuring improved budget performance in the 2025 fiscal year. It will achieve this by embracing a medium-term revenue strategy for a solid economic foundation. The Commissioner for Budgets and Planning, Mr. Olaolu Olabinton, gave the assurance in an interview after the budget presentation to the House of Assembly by Governor Dr. Abiodun, expressing the optimism that next year's budget will achieve between 75 to 80% performance. The Budget and Planning Commissioner described the budget as sustainable, adding that the annual budget performance since inception of the current administration has been on the upward movement. Reports reaching our news desk as if that some retired military personnel grounded activities at the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja this Thursday over their unpaid entitlements. The retirees accused the federal government of not paying them a 20% to 28% salary increment from January to November 2024. They brought sleeping mats, chairs, and canopies to the protest ground. You're listening to the media news on OGBC 90.5 FM. Colombian Finance Minister Mr. Ricardo Bonilla this Thursday resigned at the request of President Gustavo Petro after accusations that he turned a blind eye to the bribery of parliamentarians. A former advisor accused Mr. Bonilla last week for knowing that lawmakers are being paid off in return for backing key reforms promised by President Petro. The Attorney General's office alleged that the bribes were paid with $200,000 taken from public funds. Bonilla has maintained his innocence. The French Prime Minister, Mr. Michel Barnier, government has lost a confidence vote in the National Assembly, depending on a political crisis and raising questions about the country's budget for next year. A total of 331 legislators in France's 577 seat lower house of parliament on Wednesday voted to remove 73-year-old Mr. Barnier's centrist ministry government. Far left and hard right opposition parties united to pass the motion after Mr. Barnier used special power to push through budget measures without a parliamentary vote. Following the vote, Parliament Speaker Ms. Joëlle Brun-Paillet confirmed that Mr. Barnier would now have to submit his resignation to President Emmanuel Macron and declared the session closed. Chinese hackers have stolen the metadata of a large number of Americans in dubbed Sword Typhoon, gained access to communications of senior U.S. government officials and communications had not been compromised. A senior official, while at the U.S. government agencies, were given senators informed that the Chinese government had focused on a large number of individuals in the ongoing campaign, which has targeted those telecommunications and telecom infrastructure companies around the world. Israel has dismissed as entirely false an Amnesty International report this Thursday accusing it of committing genocide against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Israel's foreign ministry made it known that the deplorable and fanatical organization Amnesty International has once again produced a fabricated report that is entirely false and based on lies. The statement pointed out that it was Hamas's unprecedented October 7th attack on Israel that was genocidal. Rights group Amnesty said its findings were based on dehumanizing and genocidal statements by the Israeli government and military officials, satellite images, documentary, devastation, field plans. Three, and now to sports. Three-time Olympic dressage and gold medalist Charlotte Dujardin has been banned for 1 year and fined 10,000 Swiss francs for excessively whipping a horse. Video footage emerged in July of the 39-year-old repeatedly striking the horse with a long whip around its legs just days before the start of the Paris 2024 Olympics. Dujardin's international ban handed out by the FEI, the world governing body for equestrian sports, is backdated to the start of a provisional suspension, and she will be eligible to compete again from July 2025. British equestrian and British dressage have also reciprocated the suspension, preventing Dujardin from competing in national competition or training events during the same period. Dujardin's 6 Olympic medals, comprising 3 gold, a silver, and 2 bronze medals, are the joint most of any British female Olympian, alongside former track cyclist Dame Laura Kelly's 5 golds and a silver medal. Good governance is a reflection of good citizenry. Renew your commitment to being a patriotic Nigerian. To end, another look at the major items. Represented by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, Senator Heineken Nokobiri at a function in Lagos, President Bola Tinubu urged labor unions to collaborate with the government for the benefit of Nigerians. The Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, while presenting the 2025 budget proposal to the State House of Assembly, promised the completion of all ongoing projects across the state. You also heard that the Colombian Finance Minister, Mr. Ricardo Bonilla, has resigned at the request of President Gustavo Petro over turning blind eye to the bribery of parliamentarians. The media news was edited by Elizabeth Kufuriji and broadcast from OGBC Abeokuta. For exclusive programs and latest news updates, visit our website at ogunradio.ng. Follow us on Facebook at Ogun Radio Abeokuta and on X at OGBC 905 FM. You can also listen to OGBC on the Radio Garden.